What's up, friends? Welcome to the 26 podcast with Luke and Adrian. On this podcast, we focus on Web3, business, and achieving your personal potential. Today's episode is a Web3 project spotlight, where we go deep into some of the details of the Love Monster project, which is on the Avalanche blockchain and as of this week, on your favorite mobile device's app store. We're thrilled to have Liam, the founder of Maverick Meta Labs, joining us to share his insights on the Love Monster NFT project, which is a unique blend of art, technology, and community. Stay tuned as Liam takes us behind the scenes of his groundbreaking project, revealing the creative process and the vision that's setting Love Monsters apart in Web3 gaming. As with all of our episodes, none of what you hear today is to be considered financial advice. This is purely for entertainment and educational purposes. With that all said, let's talk Love Monsters. Welcome to the 26 podcast with Luke and Adrian. Today we have a special guest with us. We have the founder of Maverick Meta Labs and the Love Monsters NFT project, Liam. Liam, welcome to the show, man. Glad to have you here.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's great, Liam. I'm glad you were able to carve out some time, dude. I know you have a new release coming out on the App Store, so it's super exciting to have you on. So to kind of get it started, we'd love to spend a little bit of time getting to know you a little bit better, and if you could also share a little bit maybe around your background and what kind of got you into the Web3 space.
I started as a graphic designer. So around 12, 13 years ago, I opened up I didn't open up a design agency. I started designing for people. And initially it was like Twitter designs, mixtape artworks and album artworks for people. And that just gradually, organically kind of grew into more demand. So I decided to set this up as a full-time thing, and it just grew from there, really. So I'm self-taught in design. I just taught myself what I needed to know, and as new jobs came on, I would obviously try and learn them skills. So like I said, I went from designing simple Twitter layouts for people to like bringing on more customers, and then teaching myself how to build WordPress websites, and the list sort of went on. And then as the business kind of grew, I then obviously started to hire people to scale it up. And then, I've been doing that for, like I said, 12, 13 years. I've worked with all sorts of people from the likes of the game, Chris Brown, doing album artwork for them, marketing, working for Universal, Warner Brothers. Like pretty much anyone. My sort of niche was the music industry. So I sort of tapped into that market, and my customer base grew organically. That's pretty much how I sort of started. And then that gradually progressed into, I had a friend say to me that he was doing NFTs. This was probably, like 3 years ago. So we started Love Monster 2 years ago. So 3 years ago, I had a friend saying that he was getting into NFTs. And I sort of wanted to find out more about it. And I started doing my research, and then came up with a collection of Love Monster.
So one of the things I think is just really cool is just your ability to kind of teach yourself that. I feel like that's more and more we kind of hear from folks that are like have expertise in a certain area, and it's just not necessarily going through kind of a traditional approach of like you went to a school that did that, but like there's so much great knowledge out there, and there's nothing really like kind of getting your hands into it and learning it yourself that really kind of gets you out there. So that's really cool to see that you're able to do that.
Yeah, I've always I didn't do good in school. I did good in school, but I didn't do, like I left when I was like 15, 14 and a half, 15. I just sort of like kind of left. I was more of the class clown. But anything like I've sort of tried to, I've enjoyed it. I've always enjoyed drawing and art. So design became something like that followed on naturally. I've just always liked following something through, and I've always liked that whole process of learning something and teach yourself how to do it and perfecting it in a way.
Very cool.
Nice.
No, that's awesome. So we'll talk a little bit more about Love Monsters as a whole, but just I am interested in kind of how you came up with like the idea for the Love Monsters in general. Like where did the whole concept of the monsters kind of come from?
How did Love Monster start? Really was my friend was said about getting into NFTs. I started looking more and more into it. The initial name, the initial name was a previous idea from a few years back, where I was going to do a clothing line, but obviously never did anything with that. Didn't take off, and just didn't pursue it. Really, Love Monster was a cool name that I liked and wanted to run with. Came up with some different character designs until obviously coming up to what we have now. And even what we have now, Roger, one of the other designers on the project, he's like worked with Disney, Marvel. He created the old cartoon series for Mickey Mouse and the Hercules cartoon. So he helped me perfect my idea. Like, it's not just me doing the visuals. Like, I had the initial concept, and together we've made Love Monster visually what it is today. Like, and he's a huge asset to the team. Like, I can literally sketch out some ideas or come up with an idea, and he'll go and bring that to life. So yeah, Love Monster never was going to be a game. It was literally started out as just a collectible, like, profile picture, really, like, which I was selling on OpenSeas on on the Matic network. And I started listing them at like $40, and a few more people were picking them up. And I was literally sitting there at night in bed, like, designing them and creating them and then listing them. And every day, like, people were asking more and more for them. And then literally that's where it took off. And I was like, okay, so there's some traction here. People like it. And then once I did the we did an IOU token for them, and they went way beyond like whatever we would have thought they could have done. And so I was like, okay, we've sold all of these IOU tokens. Let's really bring some value and give value back for the people that have invested in them. And that's where the idea of the game come. A friend of mine, Nate, he actually bought a couple of them initially, and I was like, look, dude, like, we've got there's big potential here. Let's do something with it. So Nate came on and joined me, and he helped me like create the game idea. Like, no, the game was never going to be like what it is today. I wanted like a simple turn-based card game. I don't know if you've heard of Top Trumps.
I don't think I have.
It's an old card game where, say you look at cars, basically. It's like you'll have like horsepower in your car, and you get to pick 5 stats. So you basically have a different car, different stats, and I'll ask you for what your stat is. If yours is higher than mine, then you win, and I'll give you that card. So that was going to be the initial idea for the game, just a simple like card game basically. But now we're building this monster of a game that has all these different elements to it.
You'll definitely have a really robust game kind of built out with just a lot of different strategic elements to it and that type of thing. So we're definitely gonna spend a little bit of time getting into that. I am curious. So, like, you mentioned like some of your partners and backgrounds, and like I've been really impressed with like some of the storytelling that y'all have, because y'all have like a whole like lore that goes along with like how the monsters were created and that type of thing. Can you talk just a little bit about that, like how that all kind of came about, and like some of the, like, you don't have to like retell the whole lore, but
the whole story. Yeah. So yeah, basically we wanted to give these monsters a meaning. How did they get here and all of that? Same way you would do with any sort of game, to give it some strength, I suppose. Like, you can't just come up with these monsters. So yeah, we put together a whole story. We brought some people in that we know to add them as characters. I was supposedly Dr. Love, like the creator of it. But in the game, it's actually like an old guy who's an old scientist who could never find love. So he was trying to craft a way, because he was basically on this planet on his own. And he crafted the monsters, and then the monsters obviously then made more monsters once there was an explosion in the laboratory, and the 9,999 love monsters were created. Yeah, there's a whole story I could get into, but
yeah. No, but and we'll definitely link to some of that in the show notes too, so folks can get to know it. But I just think it's just kind of cool that, like, they're not just NFTs that are out there. There's like a backstory between, like, helping you to understand, what universe they live in and all of that. Just kind of makes you a little more connected to them.
And that's part of the, like, in the game, like, especially when we bring out the Monsterverse, which is all like our land plots, all of the resources, everything sort of ties back into the story. Like, Myocron's one of our rarest resources and the hardest to get, and they have a certain play, and they'll have different utility inside of games. So it's just, you got to like connect everything, make it make sense, really.
Awesome. Very cool. So let's talk a little bit more about the monsters themselves, and like just kind of some of the main like NFTs that are in the game. So obviously there's the monsters, there's also the zombies, and then there's items and collectibles that are in there. Can you share just a little bit, like, the high level about like how the different pieces of the system all run?
Yeah, so basically the 9,999 love monsters are the original collection, and they're like your main in-game character. So they're upgradable NFTs. With your love monster, you can stake it in our dashboard. You can obviously play it as your in-game avatar. These are fully upgradable, so you teach your monsters skills. So the skills that you teach your monster then get bound to that NFT, which are obviously they're once you teach your monster that skill, it never forgets it. So it's always learned. So it adds more value to your actual NFT. You can edit your DNA stats, so you can obviously upgrade its power, speed, all these different attributes and statistics inside the game that basically perfect that and tune that monster to be how you want it to be. Whether you want to build like a tank or a glass cannon or a healer in the game, you can basically tune your monster to how you want it to perform inside of the game, and build your perfect team, because you can obviously fight 1v1, 2v2 and 3v3s. So it's about wanting to give players as much customizability inside of the game with their love monsters as possible, but then also reflect that on chain, so they can. It's not just a profile picture basically now. Like there's way much more. Then the zombie edition, that brings more utility inside of the game. So you can unlock certain items with that. You can upgrade your monsters with certain things that there'll be like skins that they unlock, and then again you'll be able to certain traits that they have. So there's one zombie that's got an axe in its head. That will be able to basically, when you put a zombie on a forest plot, it will gather more wood resources for you. So there's just little things like that. People, if they look into the metadata, they'll start to sort of like piece all the pieces to the puzzle together, and it all starts to make more sense then. The collectibles are just like more of a proof of attendance NFT, like just for like participating and being part of the community. But we're working on our core update for the game, and which is when we're going to start introducing in-game items which can be brought on chain, traded, and then brought from our marketplace back into the game. So yeah, they're the collection we've got at the minute, and yeah, there'll be some other things we bring out in the future. But for now, we really want to focus on the Love Monsters and adding more value to the community for them.
Very cool.
Dude, that's cool, man. It's always it's one of those games where there's always so many things that go into the game to where you're like, it's sometimes hard to like figure out where you start, right?
That's it.
But man, tell me a little bit. I know usually a lot of folks are interested in the tokenomics part. That's probably more about the Web3 section. Not always necessarily Web3, because I in the app you don't have to worry about having some immediately. But tell us a little bit about the tokenomics. I know you have some LMT, and then you have the NRG as well. Could you go into a little bit on how do you get it? How do you can you stake it? Can you earn more of it? But tell us a little bit more about the tokenomics.
LMT currently isn't on chain, but we're working on that at the minute. So we're going to be launching our ERC20 token. So at the minute, it's an in-game token, which is inside of our ecosystem. So you can get it by staking your love monsters. They produce LMT. Once you stake the love monster, which produces X amount of LMT, it also increases based on the rarity of your love monster. You can then stake that LMT to earn energy, NRG, which you then use the energy to upgrade your love monster, which creates that trichonomics there, and you can just keep that loop going. So the more energy you feed your monster, increases its level, and then the higher the level of the love monster, produces more LMT. But also, because we've got our mobile game, you can level it up through either staking on our dashboard or through playing our game. So, for example, if you're a player and you want to play the game, you can be playing the game throughout the day. You can level it up, and then at night time you can go and stake your love monster, and it can earn you LMT. So there's two ways there. You can either just stake it, claim your rewards daily, or you can play the game and then stake it at night and earn LMT. So we're trying to complete that entire loop, really.
If you don't go into the actual staking of the monsters, the love monsters, you can also kind of like to me, it gives me like a sense of like Clash of Clans, right? So you can also go in there and kind of get there faster without having, I mean, there's an easier way or more long-term play of like staking the monster, earning the tokens. And then there's also the way to actually go in there and buy credits. And the credits, of course, just allows you to get there probably a lot faster, I would imagine. Am I right?
Yeah, so there will be, in the game, there will be ways that you can like fast track your level up. But at the same time, there's going to be mechanisms in there to not enable you to do that. Like, we don't want everyone just to boost it. We don't want it to be a pay to win game. We had to, and that's one of the things we always keep at the forefront of our minds is making sure we don't turn into a pay to win, or it has to be play to earn. It has to be fair and accessible for everyone. And that's one of the reasons we introduced the free to play characters. So you can literally download the game, sign in, or join as a guest, and you'll be created a free, randomly created Love Monster. These aren't part of the original collection, and they're not obviously NFTs. They're just an in-game character. The idea was to get people used to the game, know how the game works, and if they like the game, then they can look at, okay, I'll look at the marketplace and I'll buy an NFT. Because realistically, if you're spending that much time playing the game and upgrading it, you'll be teaching the monster skills. So if you teach a free-to-play character skills, you can never sell that on the marketplace. Whereas if you spend all these hours playing the game and teaching it skills and upgrading it and making this perfect monster, we want you to be able to sell these and get an ROI on the NFT, basically, for the time you invest in the game. It is complex, and it is like, even for me, it's like, wow, you can do so much, but yeah, it's just hard to break it down to a new person. So that's what we're currently working on now, is trying to get as many video tutorials made and content so we can teach people like what you can do with a Love Monster, and show them like you can do more than just stake it, or you can do more than just play the game with it, because it hopefully appeals to more people that way.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And that's part of, I think, what Luke and I kind of like really kind of drove us to start this podcast was, of course, we're big chicken heads, and chicken's so complex. Love Monsters, going into it's like, man, I got to start learning all this stuff. Like it's truly, it's like trying to teach people, not only by the videos, but also talking to you guys, because there's so many different dynamics of people want to learn how you got started. How did you get into the project? And then you get into the project and like, well, this is how you do it. But there's not a whole lot of time to like always walk through the process of the gaming. So it's always cool, man. I love having you guys on here and asking you those questions. Tell me a little bit about the NFT traits in themselves. I know I saw a lot of the Love Monsters have some individual or some special NFT traits. Can you go into a little bit about how that gets into the gameplay?
Yeah, so traits at the minute, they will unlock more stuff more in the Monsterverse when we go to like the open world stuff, land plots. We are planning, because obviously this is the first beta we've released, but we are planning on making certain traits that your monster may have more of an impact in the game against your opponents, and having like rewards for that. But the way we plan to do it, we don't want to obviously say to them, if your monster's got this, it's that. We want you to discover that through play. So we're going to be coming out with seasons and special events. So once we've got further releases with our betas, we're going to be focusing more on like, okay, let's try and create some skills that are influenced more by this trait. So the different traits that the monsters have, like there's one in there I can say now, which is a Vaccinite. Like it's a bit of a play on the kryptonite. So we want that to have like some more of a powerful effect when fighting against other monsters. So there's things in there like that we're going to do, but it's all about when we do it and how do we incorporate that into the gameplay.
Absolutely, man. Land plots. As a real estate guy, I'm always interested in Web3 real estate. So I'm always is that too early for some alpha, or is there some talk on what the land plots are going to be?
Yeah, I could pull up some something to show you if you want.
Yeah, that'd be great. So you had Adrian at real estate. So he I think in chicken, I think you have 27 farmlands.
28. Wow. I just increased it. I keep increasing it, man. So he's. I was the largest landowner in farmland and chicken, but it's there's been a few people that have surpassed me in the last couple of months.
Yeah, I need to look into getting into the land plots in all the farmlands in chicken for sure.
No, it's crazy, man. Because what's cool is you guys have integrated Love Monsters with chicken, or the collaborating, right? The cross pollination, letting everybody kind of taste the honey, as Sherbach would say. But it's cool. I think you guys have actually put some of your Love Monsters in the actual worm farms underneath the farm.
That's right, yeah. So we give chicken 200 zombies.
It's the zombies.
And it's the zombies which are in the farmlands, but they're I won't say too much. I don't want to give too much alpha away. But yeah, basically my vision with our Monsterverse and some of our partners such as Chicken and Mad Skulls is having everything so that it has cross utility. So you can't say you find something in our land plot. I don't want it just so that you can use it only in Love Monster. I want it so that you can maybe take that to Chicken, or you can take it to Mad Skull's project and have utility there, and vice versa. If they find something there, we create utility. And the beauty of it is that we can do that because we've got a game, so we can create anything in the game. We can create recipes. We can create certain items that are crafted with these resources that you find in our game. And that's all about bringing communities together that way as well. Because if I've got a Love Monster and I can take it to Mad Skulls, or I can take it to Chicken, or if I've got a Chicken and I'm collecting resources and I can find utility in Love Monster, then I think that's more of like adding value to everyone, really, in a way.
Absolutely, man. Throwing some honey all over Web3. I like
exactly.
honey.
Cross-pollinating. Yep.
That's right.
Yeah, and I love the connection between the zombies being what's buried in the worm farm. Because if you think of where does a zombie come from, they're come from underground. So it was
in the graves,
genius in that side too.
Yeah, definitely. I'm looking for. I don't know if anyone's actually found them. I was speaking to Sherbrooke on KFC the other day. I think they're going to look into making it a little bit easier for them to be discovered, because obviously now we've revealed the utility. But I do believe they were buried pretty deep in the worm farms.
I've got two blue. That's one thing. Tell me this. I don't know if you know or not. Are they under like a blueprint, or like do you have to deploy worm in order to get them, or once you dig a plot you already get them?
I'm not entirely sure if you need to deploy worm, but I know that they're in there as an NFT.
Okay, I'm just curious if they show up somewhere when you start digging.
Yeah, I think KFC said they were in a different. The chest looks different than the other chests. I think you would be able to tell that it was not the same chest as another item would be in there.
Yeah, I think some alpha got out as well the other week of some other things that can be buried in the farms as well, which we'll be announcing soon.
Ah, all right.
Some monster moves.
Yes.
They were cool, yeah. So do you want me to go ahead and share my screen?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so this is a land plot at the minute. So this is a forest plot, although it's not got many trees on it. But this is something we're currently working on. So your forest plots will also have levels, so you can upgrade your levels, which generate more resources. But then also the monster that you deploy into your the monster that you send to hunt for resources on your land plot, its level will also contribute to how many resources it finds, how fast it can find them, and so on. But what the idea is, you'll be able to come on your land plot. It'll be divided into, say, 3x3 tiles or 6x6, whatever we finalize it on. And different buildings will. I'll just move this around. Like different buildings can be moved, and you can occupy different things. I don't want to give too much away, but what our goal is, we're going to have a city in the Monsterverse. In the center of the Monsterverse map will be like the city, basically, where we'll have casinos, where you'll be able to access our casino, shops, all of these different things to access, and games. But if you build a casino, for example, on one of your land plots, some of the revenue that we generate from the main casino inside of the center of the map will be distributed to holders that have got a casino in their land. So we're trying to do something like that, where the investment and what people invest in playing in the game is distributed across some of the holders as well. Obviously, if I say, for example, I've got this little monster here running around and he's hunting for wood resources, because the forest plots generate wood, the mines generate myocron, which is our rarest resource, and then quarries generate stone. And all of these resources will be used for building items and stuff like that. So if I've got a forest plot, because they'll have a limited supply as well. If I've got a forest plot and I'm only the only guy that's generating wood resources, I can then go and list that wood on the marketplace, and people that are trying to build will require wood, because we as Love Monster won't be selling these resources. The resources will only be generated from the community and the holders of the land plots. So it's trying to bring, again, like that whole community peer-to-peer marketplace through the Monsterverse.
Dude, that's Adrian. Cool, man. That's like StarCraft. I remember playing that when I was younger, in my olden days. You always had to get the wood, stone, and just the resources to start creating armies and buildings stuff. And yeah. And we hate alpha, man. So don't give too much alpha. Our listeners don't like alpha either.
There'll be build times on here
you're
as
fine if
well.
you leak anything because nobody likes to listen to it anyway.
Well, that's why I'm sharing this particular screen, because this can be found in our white paper.
Oh, cool.
But yeah, like no numbers have been finalized yet on like how long it's going to take you to build, what it's going to cost to build, what resources you'll need. But we are, like I said, like our current dashboard is all done off chain, which is great because you save on gas fees. So that I'm considering
Right.
making this web based again rather than an actual mobile app, because this type of idle gaming is more for like you guys, that you're invested in chicken farmlands because you obviously there's an ROI there. And you don't want to be stuck on doing it on your phone. If you can do it on your phone, great. But I just feel like this is to have the best experience. You want to be on a computer and doing it correctly.
Yeah,
No,
for
that's
sure.
cool, man. That's cool because I'm actually excited to get all these projects or getting into them. I got some early Christmas gifts. I think that it's coming up for my boy because I'm actually going to be getting them. I know you guys just started or released yesterday, but I'm going to be getting them involved, and it's kind of like their intro into the Web3 space.
Yeah.
So these are those cool things I think kids can also get into and start building. So it's pretty exciting, man. Thanks for sharing
Yeah, it's
that.
fun. And I love building it because I love the design part so much. So for me, like if I showed you and I haven't got it on this computer, but if I showed you like what the initial forest plots were, it's completely different. And I'm always like that. I'm always trying to perfect it and make it look cooler and how I envision it. But yeah, I really like the way this is looking currently. And we want to keep building out and lay the different plots out, see what you can do. And obviously ideas just continue to flow and we just build something bigger than what I obviously initially set out to do. But I just want to make something that is good and that lasts, and it's not just a quick. Like games can come out and they can go up and come down. Like I've had it before. Like I've had 3 number one apps out, and I didn't. Not that I don't want a number one app for Love Monster, which I do, of course, but I want it to be around for a long time. I don't just want this to be a quick. Oh, that was cool, and then everyone's forgotten about it. I want to bring something that provides longevity for people. They enjoy playing, and also they can get that ROI on it.
Mm-hmm. No, that's cool. And I think for sure, like just like kind of what you were saying about like how you keep coming up with new ideas and that, I feel like that's how some of the best, concepts out there happen is like you start one thing and then you come up with another idea that's even better. And then you keep going on from there. I think a lot of times especially in Web3, people kind of get hung up on, is there a roadmap? Do I know what this thing's going to be 5 years from now? Which if you kind of lock yourself into something like that, sometimes you miss out on some great ideas. So keeping on, editing or kind of come up with stuff like that is always cool.
Definitely. And I'm always like, so like I said, the game, Love Monster game, we could have released a way simpler version of it, but I didn't want to just put any subpar project out. I wanted to do something great. And even now, like I'm not happy with the game in its current state. Like it's a beta release. We're constantly improving on it. And we've got so many things planned for it. But it was at the point where the community was like, come on, like, is this game going to come out ever? Some people didn't even believe it. Even though we've been building through the entire bear market for like 2 years straight, and we've shown so much of the game, it was time like, okay, we need to release this game and let's just go with it. Even though I don't really want to, because I wanted to release it perfectly, like with all the features working and all the new things that you can do in the game. But at some point, you just have to release it and then keep building. That's also good for the investors and the people that own the NFTs and that are playing the game from day one, because they can see the growth and the progression in it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's honestly, that's what me and Adrian did with the podcast. Like we were talking about it for a long time. Then one day we're just like, we just got to launch it. And and we did. And then we got better every time. So
yeah,
so
that's it.
Just
Nothing's going to be perfect. Just you just get better with time. The same as everything.
Yeah,
Practice makes perfect.
For sure. Awesome. So let's talk a little bit more about the game itself. So you mentioned a little bit before. There's a few different modes that you have to it. So it's a player versus player game at its core. There's also the ability to play against the computer, basically. But you can either do 1v1, 2v2, 3v3. But maybe just talk just a little bit more about the gameplay itself, kind of the functionality that's out there in the current beta.
Yeah. So it's and just before I go into that, the what's it called, the bot that's on there now, so you can the dummy icon, if you press that, it's playing against a test dummy. So I've seen a few people on Twitter today saying I was playing against the thing, but I seem to never win. It's because it has infinite health. So that is basically a test area for you to go and test your builds.
Gotcha.
We are integrating soon, like bot players, so that whether there's people actually playing or not, while we're growing our player base, you'll always be able to find a match. But that's going to come out in one of the next updates. But yeah, I did see a few people saying, "Hey, I've been playing this dummy; it never seems to die." But
I'm glad you said that, because I had that same experience. I was like, "This is a long match. It was going like 7 minutes." I was like, "When is this guy going?"
Boring.
So,
now you know.
Awesome. That's definitely good to know.
So yeah, the game is turn-based. That's got me. Yeah. So I can still see you laughing, dude. Okay. So at the minute in the beta stage, like you said, you can do the 1v1, 2v2, and 3v3s. It's a turn-based strategy combat game. Basically, when you go into the game at the minute, you'll be able to go in there, edit your Love Monsters stats, DNA, teach it the skills that it learns, and you can play against friends. There's 2 modes in there at the minute, so you can play the free to play, or you can play ruthless mode, which is for money. Basically, you'll win LMT. So if 2 players go against each other, the winner takes all of the LMT. At the minute, there's only 1 pool for 1,000 LMT, but as we grow and onboard more users, we're going to add different pools like 5,000, 10,000, 25, so you can have higher prizes. You can do everything from modifying the stats of your Love Monster, the DNA, teach the skills. There's an in-game chat at the minute that's in there. One of the features that we're currently building out for the next release is the missions, because we want to keep players engaged. Because at the minute, it's great that you can go in there and play battle after battle, but there's no real, I don't know, like nothing to really do in there other than fight each other. So we're introducing in our core update missions. So you'll have daily missions, weekly missions, and monthly missions. So you'll be able to take part and do all these missions and unlock like unique items in the game. Again, that's part of the whole play to earn. Like you don't actually have to buy anything if you don't want to. You can progress through the game. Part of the missions we're doing as well, the first one you'll do is almost like a tutorial, like a walkthrough, educate people what they can do with the monster. Because at the minute, if you come into the game new and you don't really know much about gaming, people are kind of lost. So we wanted the first mission that you'll do is like, go here and edit your monster's DNA stats. Put DNA stats on power because power does this. So just like it's guiding them through the game with a tutorial. And then, like I said, there'll be like daily missions and weekly missions and monthly. And then we're going to be hosting like tournaments as well through one of our partners we've teamed up with.
So no, that's really cool. I like how there's a lot of different elements to the game. I like having the missions. I think is a good way. I think there's a lot of games that like that's just a good way to get introduced into it. So I'm really interested in that. And plus, I just like having like sometimes it's fun just to have like a commitment to the game. Like you want to go back because you know there's something to do or that kind of thing. I play a lot of FIFA Mobile, and they do like they almost have too many missions. There's a lot of them in there, but like it just keeps me like, okay, I want to make sure and I do them. So it's a lot of fun just to stay connected to it and that kind of thing. So that's cool.
Is FIFA football or is it soccer?
So in the rest of the world, it's football and and so and I call it football, but other Americans like to call it soccer.
Yeah, they do.
So
I won't ask what team you support. So
you can. So I support Austin FC. So they're a local team here in Austin. So it's an MLS team. But Premier League, I support Arsenal. Hopefully that's an okay one. I know.
I'm a Man United fan.
Okay,
Manchester United. Yeah,
I can go for that. I can go as long as you don't say that you support Tottenham or Chelsea, then we're good. So.
Yeah, sure. No, I don't.
Very good. Awesome. Good deal. So I want to talk just a little bit more about like the so there's other elements to the game too. And one of the things I think is cool is that you can play with either a free version or you can have the NFT. And I think definitely one of the perks about having the NFT is that it is upgradable. And so I do have both. So I have one that's the NFT, and then one came with the game. And I'm noticing that I'm definitely at a disadvantage because my my love monster is a baby. He's only level 1 because his dad blows all of his money at the casino. So because I was earning my LMT and I was trying to get it turned into energy, and then it's like, well, come on, I don't have it. He's like, oh, because I keep spinning the wheel.
You might win that jackpot though.
I know. I got to keep trying, but I am glad now that I can level him up with by getting experience points in the battles. So that's currently my strategy because I can't help spinning that wheel.
Stop being a degen, Luke. Stop being a degen.
Yeah.
I know. So I think you mentioned we might be able to get a chance to see the game in action. Definitely would be cool to kind of check that out if we have a chance to look at it. Or
yeah, definitely. Sure. Okay, it's just loading up.
Cool.
Are you already in the lobby or?
Yeah. So I'm right
you
here.
Press battle, yeah?
See
yeah,
my.
That's it. Yeah. Cool.
I got it there. Cool.
Okay, so I'll go to battle. So on this screen here, like I was mentioned before about the ruthless mode, you see it on in the column on the left.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if you click the ruthless mode button, it gives you a little pop-up and it says little fish. So each player adds 1,000 LMT to the pot. We won't do that because I know you obviously used to blown all your LMT this week.
Yes.
So I'll just do free to play.
Okay.
So you can add items to use, consumable items to use in the game, like power-ups, like to heal yourself, or stuff that's going to, if an enemy attacks you, like debuff them and make them their attacks less powerful. So once you select your monster, you can tap on it, and then it shows you how you got your DNA stats distributed, what skills you've got equipped. Because if them skills ain't no good, you want to go back, edit it, and add different skills. Then you literally just hit find a match for a 1v1. If you want to do 2v2, you just add another monster on the circles there.
Good deal. And quick question on that one. Can you mix and match? So if I have the free one and my NFT one, can they both battle side by side?
Exactly, yeah. You can go in,
awesome.
so you've got a free one and an NFT, you can play a 2v2 match perfectly fine. It's no different. Obviously, like I said, the only difference is you can't sell them, and like if you're spending time playing with these monsters, you want to have sort of some value at the end.
Yep. Awesome.
Okay, you want to press find match?
Yep.
Okay. What's your username on here?
Luke.
Luke. Let's see if I match with you. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah, for sure.
I got matched with Mr. Chow.
Ooh, that's a tough match. Isn't he? He's like winning the whole thing, right?
He's ridiculous, that guy. Like he knows so much about games. Like he's been here from like day one. Like he helped us so much with Alpha 1, 2, and 3. It was insane. He like literally we did a bug bounty. I'm not even going to concentrate because I'm going to lose. But we did a bug bounty, and like he actually ended up winning, got the top place, and he got a unique NFT which we gave to him like the other week.
Wow.
Yeah, like the guy is like, it's super helpful having the community get involved because we can build this app. We build the app, we test it on daily, but until you get real users there playing it and tweaking things, doing things that we're not doing, that's when they find bugs that we didn't find. So it's always good to have those other, like I said, even now, he's just beat me within seconds. Yeah, even now in beta, it's good having people like that around because they're going to find new bugs and issues. And that's the only way you're going to get a perfect game. Like, I can't remember what game it was, but like so many games come out and they're in like beta for a year before they even 2 years before they even launch their final product. Hopefully we're not that long, but like, yeah, like I think beta for at least a few months we'll be in beta stages to get everything out. And just then the plan is to every month roll out a new update, big updates on a monthly basis until we get the game to like where we're happy with it.
Awesome. Very cool.
But yeah, it's a lot of strategy, and like if I'm honest, these aren't my sorts of like, I'm more into like first person shooters myself. I don't have time to play it now, but I used to play a lot of Call of Duty.
Oh yeah, I was a big Call of Duty guy too back in the day. Madden, I was a big gamer. I played a lot of games back in the day.
You was a big Call of Duty gamer?
Oh yeah. I played a lot of strategy games. I played a lot of first person shooters, Madden, football. I mean,
what's your favorite type of game?
You know, I really liked Battlefield. Where I really liked the ability to jump into like helicopters or tanks One of the newer, I guess it's older Battlefield now. It's kind of weird because my boys are big gamers now, so I kind of jump in and I kind of suck now, man. It's kind of degrading
It's
to where it's
hard.
like, man, it's
Some of
actually it's
these
probably
kids are
good because then I'm
insane.
like, man, I suck. I don't even want to play right now. But
Yeah.
getting into like the um it's the oh my God, I'm blanking it out. The free games, but they're I mean, God, they play it all the time.
Oh, the Warzone. Is it the Modern Warfare 2
Fortnite.
one?
Fortnite, not for I suck at Fortnite too, but there's the other one, Apex Legends
Okay,
or
yeah.
Apex, right?
Yeah.
So they play a lot of that. So I like to jump on and um I like to kick some ass every once in a time. Well, but I mean they're like better than I am, and I have a hard time. I got pride. I got gamer's pride.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
I don't like losing, man.
I don't either. You see people rage quitting when Mr. Chow comes on Love Monster. People will just quit the game just so they don't have to fight him.
Mr. Chow.
Yeah,
That's
That's
awesome.
awesome.
Very cool. Yeah, I'm not so good at the first person shooters. I do. I used to play a lot of like Metal Gear Solid, Grand Theft Auto, those kinds of things. And then over the pandemic, I got really into Minecraft, like probably a decade after it came out. But me and my nephews, Adrian's sons, played a lot of Minecraft, and so
yeah,
I
that's the
think
game, Minecraft, which was in beta for so long, for
yeah,
years.
Yeah, dude, we love playing Mine. I like playing Minecraft too. I'm just a freaking miner. Just mine
Such
everything.
a cool game, though. It's like the graphics aren't great. I mean, it is what it is. It's such a cool game. Like you can just go and build what you. I used to play it all the
Yeah.
time with my sons as well. We'd sit there and build worlds and just build cool stuff that you want to play with.
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean they're so advanced. It's like, and then my youngest is an artist, dude. So he's just like he builds like these amazing things, which kind of goes back into Web3, right? Like there's so many things in Web3. Like with Minecraft, you can't take it with you, right?
No,
There's no
exactly.
ownership in like in a Minecraft. So what's kind of cool are just these abilities to create something that you can own, which is kind of what's really appealing about Web3 is having that creator ownership or create and own and play to own all that jazz. So
Yeah,
it's pretty cool, man. That's kind of what really got me interested. I mean, going from the gaming into Web3, I'm not building anything right now, but it's just really cool to see you guys doing it, right? I mean, I think we all pretty much kind of were gamers at some point, and to see
definitely. Yeah.
what you guys are creating is cool. And you can see like little bits and pieces of the games that you play. I was a big SimCity uh, player. I don't know if SimCity, if I'm dating
Yeah, I know
myself,
what it is. No,
but
you're not.
Skylines, right? Skylines is kind of like the new SimCity, and I like building cities. I mean, it's
Yeah,
crazy. So it's cool to see you guys building stuff, and you see bits and pieces because I totally get it. Um, the gameplay, right? So it's really cool
yeah.
to just kind of see it come to fruition
Thank you.
and
Yeah,
being Web3. So it's exciting,
that
man.
yeah, that's the idea with the MonsterVerse and all the land plots is well, all of it, even the game, like the whole idea behind the Love Monsters, like the game companies don't own your in-game characters, you do. Like so, the hours you spend playing with that character, whenever you're leveling it up, or all that time you spend in the money that you spend in the game for skills, like that's why we wanted to bound the skills to the monster. So, say for example, you've been playing for 3 months and you're like, okay, I want to get a new monster now. I'm gonna list this one on the marketplace. Someone else can come along and in fact, it's just reminded me, I could show you actually a sneak peek of the new marketplace which I've been designing, which we're going to be launching an update. But you can come on and you can browse, you can filter through, you can find a monster, you can find the perfect level you want it to be on, you can find the genesis you want, and you can look at the skills it's earned or learned, shall I say, the DNA stats, how it's got its distribution. So you can literally be able to go in there and find the perfect monster. And obviously, then if you're the one that's been playing for 10 weeks with this monster, you're the one that's going to get that revenue back. Like you're the one that you've put the hard time into playing with it. Now you get to reap the rewards. And the same goes with when we do the land plots. Like we want it to be, you can build what you want there. Like you're gonna have a land plot, you build what you want. Sometimes you may have to clear some forest down and rebuild, but that's just all part of the game. It makes it fun and
Yep.
interactive as well. Not just a like I find certain games, like kind of like not boring, but like I want them to be interesting. Like the more realistic we can make it and more real world utility we can provide, the better, I feel. And it's going to add that longevity to the project.
Yeah, and that's a big deal. I feel like just like you were talking, just like the ownership of it. I think sometimes when you hear like people that are used to traditional gaming, like they kind of aren't really in support of Web3 gaming in some places because they don't really understand what it means to them. But I think about, like we're talking about Minecraft, like Minecraft, if you have a Realm server, you have to pay $9 a month on it forever, or you don't have it. Like I was talking to Adrian, so his sons play on my server, and so I was talking to Adrian about like, hey, are they still playing this? Because I'm thinking about like canceling it, and they were like, no, 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 don't. Like all of our work is going to be gone. And so like even in as much as I love that game, like I'm basically renting the game, and if I stop renting it, I lose everything. And in Web3, it's like no, like I can either keep it until I want to use it again, or I can sell it if I'm kind of moved on to something else. But I think it's just a huge thing that I think is going to make a huge difference with it.
It's ownership, isn't it? It's about, and you as the player, you have that power to decide what you want to do. You don't have to, okay, well, if I don't stop paying this monthly recurring bill, I'll lose all my work that I've been doing for 2 years.
Yeah.
Now you're like, oh, I can keep it in my wallet. I can come back to it next year, or I can sell it.
Yeah, 100%.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah. So I think one of the things we're interested in is, if you were, and we talked a little bit about the kind of the free options and that kind of thing, but if you were a new person, let's say it's a listener that today's the first time they're hearing about Love Monsters, like what would you recommend to them just to kind of dip their toe into the water, kind of learn about the game, like in terms of like, let's say maybe they're interested in, going beyond the free to play version, but maybe wanted to get a monster. Like how would you suggest they get started?
I would suggest first off, the first place would be to visit lovemonsternft.com, and then I'd read the white paper, or as much of it as you can read, because we try to break it down, structure it in a way that you can read, and as you're reading it sort of makes sense, not having it scattered all over the place. So like you learn about what a Love Monster, first of all, you'll learn what we do, what we've built, and the projects we've been a part of. Then it dives into the monsters, what they are, and then the game, what you can do with a monster. So I'd definitely say to start by reading the white paper, or jump straight in. If you don't like reading, come to the Discord, and there's so many people in there, especially the moderators. They're always in there and active. Um, they'll educate or help you, like point in the right direction, tell you what to do. Then I'd say, yeah, pick up a Love Monster off the marketplace. We've got our own marketplace. And yeah, on our marketplace, you get to see more stats about the monster versus going to a secondary marketplace, because obviously we have all the APIs from the game and we can display all of that info. Yeah, I'd say if you want to go past the free to play and you want to get an NFT, I'd say go straight to the marketplace, get that there, join the community, and yeah, the community will be like happy to welcome you and teach you what you need to know, really.
Cool. Okay, and that was one of my biggest questions is, okay, so yeah, that lovemonsternft.com will actually even get you there too. But what's really cool, when you guys start having your own marketplace, you don't necessarily need to go to Trader Joe, or you don't need to go to OpenSea. Like just going to the website, you can actually easily just go into the marketplace, which I'm on actually right now, because I was getting lost. I was at Trader Joe's, like I don't know where. It's always complicated to figure out where people are doing it. So when you all kind of collaborate on your own website, I think it makes it kind of like a one-stop shop and makes everything so much easier. So very cool.
Definitely, yeah. The only negative to having our own marketplace, which I'm sort of finding out more about now, is you're not on these secondary marketplaces where the majority of people will go to see your volume or to see you in the charts. Obviously, people will discover you from being on there. Like we partner with Trader Joe and NF Trade and some of the other ones, but our community want to see that data. They want to see the stats of their monster, and they can't. The secondary marketplaces can't display that. So yeah, not unfortunately, but yeah, the majority of people will come and trade on the Love Monster NFT marketplace.
No, that's cool, man. Are you guys doing any other type of partnerships with other projects other than Chicken? I think you mentioned Mad Skulls as well.
Yeah, so we're working with Mad Skulls. We're working closely at the minute with Avalanche Gaming. which is really good. They've been a great help to us, and yeah, introducing us to a few key people in the industry and giving us some nice support there. Like I said, I don't know if I mentioned it before, but we've got several gaming launch pads that we're partnering with. Yeah, they'll be like announced in the next few weeks. I mean, that's always great because you can have a community, but if your community doesn't grow, then your player base won't grow. So yeah, tapping into other people's ecosystems and communities is great for us. So that's what I've been trying to focus on over the last few weeks. We partnered also with Miracle Play. They're an esports tournament company. They're currently on Polygon chain. They'll be launching on Avalanche in the next few weeks, and we're the first Avalanche game to partner with them. And they've got a community of like 35,000 people. So it's exciting to like get our first tournaments going with them. That would be great to obviously see what new players come into the ecosystem, if they're going to just play with the free to play or they're going to buy an NFT. It's I'm excited to see what happens.
Liam, this has been awesome having you on, man. So I think a couple of things I think would be really good to also share. So you also have for folks that are on X / what used to be known as Twitter, you'll have a weekly monster cast that goes on that Vincent runs. I think that's another good way to kind of get connected with the community and that kind of thing. So definitely would suggest that for folks. But anything else that you'd like to share with listeners before we close out? Any kind of parting thoughts or things like that?
Thank you for everyone that's like been here, supporting the project. Like we've been around for like 2 years. Like we just had our 2-year birthday on the 4th of November. So yeah, like just thank you to everyone that's been a part of the community that believed in us while we were building and were patiently waiting for us. We've got a lot planned and a lot to come. Yeah, like download the apps. It's in, like I said, it's in a beta stage at the minute. Yeah, and we just look forward to welcome more people to the community and growing together.
Awesome. Well, Liam, thanks so much for being on. And listeners, we will be sure to link all the different sites that Liam mentioned before. So we'll definitely link to the App Store, to Google Play, so you can find the mobile app for it, and then as well as the white paper and the main page, along with some other goodies in there too. But Liam, this has been awesome having you on. We're really excited about the game and what y'all have done so far, and what y'all have coming in the future. So thanks again for being on, man.
Oh, no, thank you both. Thanks, Luke, and thanks, Adrian, for that.
You got it. Thanks, Liam. Nice having you on, buddy.
All right. Yep. Take care, guys.